The scent of champagne and danger hit her before she even saw his face. Girl, listen to me right now, because what I am about to tell you is the kind of story that changes how you see the world. When Zara Mitchell walked into that ballroom carrying a tray of crystal glasses, she had exactly 45 seconds before a 4-year-old boy would rewrite her entire existence with a single word. The Grand Imperial Hotel was drowning in wealth that night. Chandeliers that cost more than her student loans, silk tablecloths worth more than her car. And at the center table, like a king holding court, sat Kang Jaemin, 33 years old, CEO of the largest tech empire in the country on paper. But underneath that legitimate facade, something darker, something that made powerful men cross the street to avoid his shadow. Zara moved through the crowd like a ghost. That was the job. Invisible, forgettable. Serve the champagne, clear the plates, do not speak unless spoken to. She had been doing this for 3 years now, ever since her mama got sick, and the medical bills started piling up like a tsunami. $63,000 in debt. Her mother in a hospital that was threatening to discharge her because insurance had run out. But tonight felt different. Electricity in the air that made her skin prickle. Then she heard it. A commotion near the main table, chairs scraping, a woman's startled gasp, and a small voice, high and desperate, crying out one word that froze 500 people mid-conversation. Mommy. A boy was running toward her at full speed, maybe 4 years old, round cheeks, expensive little suit, tears streaming down his face, and he threw himself at her legs like she was the only solid thing in a universe made of smoke. The champagne glasses shattered, golden liquid exploded everywhere, and Kang Jaemin, the heir who had not spoken a single word since birth, wrapped his arms around her thighs and held on like his life depended on it. What would you do if the most protected child in the city chose you as his safe place in front of everyone who mattered? That is exactly what happened to Zara. And she had no idea what to do. The silence stretched like taffy, 500 heads turned, mouths hanging open, and cutting through them all like a shark through still water, Jaemin was rising from his chair. Slow, deliberate, predatory. His eyes found hers across the ballroom, and something cracked in her chest. Fear, yes, but something else too. Recognition, like looking into a dark mirror. He stopped 3 feet away, close enough for her to smell his cologne, something dark and expensive, close enough to see the storm in his eyes. You, his voice was silk wrapped around steel, you are the woman from the park. Her heart stopped. The park, 3 weeks ago. A little boy choking on a grape while his nanny chatted on the phone. Zara's hands moving before her brain could catch up. Heimlich maneuver, the grape flying out, air rushing into small lungs. And those eyes, those big dark eyes, looking at her like she was a miracle. She had saved his life, had not known who he was, had given her information to security and walked away, never expecting to see him again. He has not spoken since birth. Jaemin's mask cracked, revealing something raw underneath. 4 years, every specialist in the world. Nothing worked. And tonight, he says his first word. To you. Mommy, Jaemin mumbled against her leg. Mommy is here, safe now. If this story already has your heart racing, hit that subscribe button right now, because what happens next is going to change everything you think you know about fate and second chances. I should go. She tried to detach Jaemin gently. I will pay for the damages. No. No? Jaemin stepped closer. You saved my son's life. Tonight he spoke because of you. You are not going anywhere until I understand why. I do not work for you. You do now. Tomorrow, my office, 8 a.m. His voice dropped to something almost intimate. My son has chosen you, Miss Mitchell. In my world, that is not something I take lightly. He reached down and scooped Jaemin into his arms. The boy went willingly, but kept reaching back toward her. Bye-bye, Mommy, he said clearly. Something shattered in Jaemin's expression. Pain, hope, desperation so deep it looked like drowning. Tomorrow, do not make me come find you. And then he was gone, sweeping through the crowd with his son, leaving Zara in a puddle of champagne and broken glass with her future suddenly, terrifyingly uncertain. Let me take you back 3 weeks. A gray Tuesday in Lincoln Park. Zara was cutting through on her way to her second job. 17 minutes to get from the library to the restaurant. The park was her shortcut. That is when she heard choking, the unmistakable, terrifying sound of a child who could not breathe. A small boy on a bench, face turning purple, his nanny on the phone 20 feet away, completely oblivious. Zara ran, dropped her bag, grabbed the child. 3 compressions, 4. A grape shot out and air rushed in. His eyes met hers with something she was not prepared for. Recognition, as if they had known each other before. Security appeared, questions, photographs, but the boy would not let go of her hand. Not one word, but his grip was fierce. When they finally released her, she made the mistake of looking back. He was still watching, still reaching. She did not know that for the next 3 weeks, he would draw her face every single day. Dozens of pictures. A woman with dark skin and curly hair. Waiting. Believing. Holding on to hope when no one else did. She did not sleep the night after the gala. Her apartment was a shoebox, 1 room, mattress on the floor, walls thin enough to hear her neighbors' Korean dramas. She stared at the business card. Kang Corporation, 8 a.m. This is insane, she told herself. This is dangerous. But there was Seo-jun, that face, that voice. Mommy. And there was her mother, getting worse every day in a hospital threatening discharge. At 7:55, she stood outside her building with 1 suitcase. The black car arrived exactly at 8. She got in. The Kang Corporation building was 50 stories of glass and steel, security checkpoints that scanned her face like they were memorizing it, elevators that required codes. Jaemin's office was not what she expected. Warm wood, leather worn soft, books everywhere, floor-to-ceiling windows turning the city into a carpet below. He was at those windows when she entered. You came. You did not give me much choice. There is always a choice. He turned. In the daylight, she could see how tired he looked. Dark circles, tightness around his mouth. I gave you information. You made a decision. He slid a folder across his desk, her entire life in clinical detail, every job, every failure, every debt. You are not a threat, he said. You are not a spy. You are exactly what you appear to be, someone who saved my son without expecting anything. He pushed a contract toward her. Live-in companion for Seo-jun. You move into my home, care for my son, help him learn to speak. In return, I pay your debts, all 63,000. Your mother gets the best medical care in the country. Zara stared at the numbers. This is insane. Yes. You are asking me to give up my life. I am asking you to choose a different one. His mask cracked. I get my son back. I get to hear his voice. I get to believe maybe I have not failed him completely. Why do you think you failed him? Because I am his father, and for 4 years I could not reach him, could not be what he needed. Then you walked into a park, and in 30 seconds you gave him what I could not give in 4 years. 12 hours, he said finally. A car will come at 8 tonight, but know this. You are already a target whether you accept or not. The only question is whether you want protection. At 7:55 that evening, she stood outside with her suitcase. The car arrived. She got in. The Kang estate was a fortress dressed as a mansion, walls so high she could not see over them, armed guards, gates that closed with terrifying finality. But Seo-jun was waiting on the front steps in dinosaur pajamas. Mommy, you came. I waited all day. Something cracked in her chest, something locked away since her own mother got sick. I am here, baby, forever, for as long as you need me. He pulled her to his room, and she stopped breathing. The walls were covered in drawings, hundreds, a woman with dark skin and curly hair. That is you, he said simply. I drew you so I would not forget, so you could find your way back. 3 weeks. This child had been drawing her face, believing, waiting. That first week, words poured out of him like a dam breaking. Why is the sky blue? Why is your hair curly? Can I have curly hair? Why does Daddy always look sad? But on day 3, reality hit. A guard grabbed her bag for inspection, looked at her with barely concealed contempt. Standard procedure. He rifled through her things. Can never be too careful with strangers. She is not a stranger. Seo-jun's voice rose with outrage. She is my mommy. Later, she heard servants whispering, who does she think she is? Gold digger if I ever saw one. Seo-jun found her that night. They are wrong, he said quietly, climbing into her bed. You are not going to leave. How do you know? Because you promised, and because I picked you. I am very good at picking. Through it all, Jaemin watched, never approaching during the day, but at night, she would feel eyes on her, look up to find him in the doorway, face unreadable, watching like a man on the wrong side of a window, desperate to come in. This is the part that changed everything. Day 7. A storm screaming outside, thunder shaking windows. Seo-jun's screams woke her at midnight. She ran, found him thrashing in blankets, crying words that made no sense. Mommy, no, please. Come back. She gathered him close, humming her mother's lullaby. His eyes flew open, and he said something that stopped her heart. Real mommy left, not died. Left. Are you going to leave too? Left, not died. The revelation hit like ice water. No, baby, I am not going anywhere. He relaxed against her. She sang until his breathing steadied, and when she looked up, Jaemin was in the doorway, crying. Tears streaming down the face of the most powerful man in the city. Their eyes met. Something shifted between them, something beyond contracts. Seo-jun stirred, saw his father. Daddy. Jaemin crossed the room, sat on the bed, close for the first time in 4 years. I am here, son. Seo-jun touched the tears on his cheek. Why is Daddy crying? Because I do not know how to do this. I keep failing. You are not failing. Seo-jun's voice was steady. You are learning. Mommy says learning takes time. The sound that escaped Jaemin was almost a sob. They stayed like that until Seo-jun fell asleep between them. Thank you, Jaemin whispered, for giving me back my son. What I am about to tell you is something that changes everything between them forever. The next weeks were transformation. Jaemin came home earlier, dinner together, bedtime stories and funny voices, playing dragon in the garden while Seo-jun rode his back. She found them one Saturday, the great Kang Jaemin on hands and knees in the grass, his son on his back shrieking with laughter. The sight made her laugh. When he looked up, something passed between them that made her breath catch. They talked late into nights, his brutal childhood, her deferred dreams, the future that seemed less terrifying together. Then she asked, that thing Seo-jun said, about real mommy leaving. His face closed, then opened. Mina, arranged marriage. She never wanted this life. 3 days after he was born, she was gone. Note saying she could not be a mother. The letter said the baby was not yours. I found it. East Wing, Pink Nursery. I do not care what that letter said. His voice was fierce. I held him the day he was born. He is my son. I know. She took his hands. I am asking if you are okay. No. The word tore from him. I have never been okay. Then let me help you carry it. Why would you do that? Because I love you. The words fell out. He stared, then laughed. Not bitter. Real. I love you too. Since the ballroom. Since you stood in broken glass and looked at me like I was just a man. He kissed her, finally, and it was everything. Whatever comes, we face it together, always. The threat came 4 days later, a photograph under the gate. Seo-jun in the garden, red circle around his face. We can reach him whenever we want. The Park family, old enemies, waiting for weakness. Now they had found two. Jaemin went cold, distant, pushing them away. She cornered him. You are shutting us out. I am protecting you. That is not how this works. She stepped into his space. They already know. Pushing us away just makes us alone. I cannot be what he needs and keep you safe. No, you do not get to choose for us. We stand together. The call came at 2 a.m. They took him, Seo-jun. Her blood turned to ice. I am coming with you. Too dangerous. That is my son. Every second we argue is a second he is scared and alone. If anything happens to you, I burn this world down. Then nothing will happen. The warehouse was violent she would see in nightmares forever, but she did not hide. They found him on the 3rd floor, tied to a chair, blindfolded, trembling. She tore off the blindfold. I knew you would come, he said quietly. Always, baby. Jaemin appeared, hands bloodied, face fierce. Seo-jun reached for his father. We are a family. Families come for each other. That is the rule, Jaemin agreed. Always. They walked out together, a family forged in fire. 1 year later, the same ballroom. But Zara wore white now, walking down an aisle of rose petals. Seo-jun stood beside his father, holding rings like a tiny general. The ceremony was intimate. 50 guests. Only people who mattered. You made my son speak, Jaemin said. You made me feel. I will spend every day being worthy of you. You showed me family is not blood, she answered. It is choice. I choose you, both of you, forever. When he kissed her, Seo-jun squeezed between them, demanding inclusion. The ballroom that had gasped in scandal 1 year ago erupted in applause. That night in the garden, Seo-jun sleepy in his father's arms. Mommy, best day ever. Best day so far, baby. I love our family. We love you too. More than anything. Even more than ice cream? Almost as much as ice cream. He giggled. Okay. Fair. And that is how one word changed 3 lives forever. Mommy. 4 letters. Infinite possibilities. The next time someone tells you fairy tales do not exist, tell them about Zara, about Jaemin, about Seo-jun. Tell them family is not blood. It is choice. It is showing up. It is loving someone enough to fight for them. The same ballroom that gasped in scandal 1 year later applauded in joy. Because love takes the impossible and makes it inevitable, 1 word at a time. Until next time, keep believing in impossible things. This is Maya, signing off.